update on the whole initiation into Hermetics saga. And it's quite interesting, really, because what I've done is it's terrible to say that I waited for something to, really wrong to happen to see how this would hold up through those testing times where you want to hide mentally, you want to, reformulate and this kind of thing. It's only a matter of time because that's life, It's not special to me. It happens to everyone. And I apologise for this bright yellow t-shirt. It's ridiculous, I know, but I had so many sun synchronicities happen. It was fucking phenomenal. Even to the point of walking into a shop and there's a bright yellow t-shirt in front of me. I thought, fuck it, I'll buy it. I'll wear it on a Sunday. And got up and put it on, looked out the window in the hallway, and I noticed that a child had painted a big yellow sun on the fence about 3 gardens down, and it was like, fucking hell. There's been so many now, I couldn't even recall just how many sun synchronicities have taken place. And yeah, so that's the mark of things. And I want to share a little story here. Oh, actually, before that, I should say, in the past, I said that I wanted to do this thing by myself, by the book, not looking online too much, that kind of thing. But things have developed, things have happened, and basically, I was invited to join a group, like a Hermetic group. I won't say anything more than that right now, but I've put in my application and just waiting for that to be accepted. So, fingers crossed. And yeah, taking it really seriously, obviously. It almost seems ridiculous to say that. So I was sent a video, actually, this what would it be? It would be the Isis, Set, Horus kind of phase. The idea that there's the enthusiastic beginning stages, then there's the difficult bit, and then there's the rebirth. And it's very, very true. It happens microcosmically every day at work, I've found. And my moods tend to shift through that, that wonderful phase in the morning where you're full of life and thinking about all the things you're going to do and your ambitions and that kind of stuff. And then somewhere around the late afternoon, like, God, it's like, whew, things really hit a low. And then when you come home and, the sun goes down and the night comes, there's that wonderful kind of, I don't know, the night time is a kind of romantic time. It's a time of dreams, and there's a feeling where the world has calmed down a little bit, and you can think big thoughts, So that happens, with everything, with every new endeavour. And it made me think that round about, I don't know exactly when, it must have been round about the 2014 time when I first bought the Initiation into Hermetics book. I had an experience, actually, in the middle of the night, and it sounds a bit full on if I just come out with it, but it happened, so I will. And I've had out-of-body experiences, and quite often in my meditations I will sense a presence, and being a fucking practicing magician, right, you're used to that feeling of an outside intelligence. Sometimes they might appear in dreams briefly, sometimes you might get that feeling. In the old house where I used to live, there were certain nights during the winter I'd come home and the whole house would be filled with a presence, so something that I'm very, very used to. But in terms of this was quite impactful actually, because what I saw was so unusual, and that was a small Buddha, like a dwarf Buddha, a diminutive Buddha with like little kind of spiked shoulder pads. It looked kind of like you know, obviously the Far East style Buddha, and it was looking, and its eyes were almost bulging out, because as it was like looking like this, it was communicating the notion of see, see, see. It seemed to have no personality. It was like it had the aura of a bodhisattva, like it had been through everything. It had reached the final stage and was hanging around to be of use. I don't know. I mean, you know, I'm talking because of notions that pop up in my mind when I'm trying to understand, you know, what happened. And for some reason, even though I was in the bedroom, we seemed to end up downstairs in my old study, and it was sat on the floor in the meditation posture. And I remember trying to move it, and it was solid. It was totally immovable, like it was made out of lead. It was heavy and solid. It would not budge. And strangely enough, I actually bought like a Buddha around about the same size as this being in the experience, and kept it in that room. And one day it just happened to be on the carpet in exactly the same place it was in the experience. And my little daughter come downstairs, and she tried to move it and couldn't because it was too heavy. And it was like, fucking hell, that's what I was doing in the experience. So this, again, this relationship between, you know, something that, you know, happened, and the future, being influenced by a future event, really striking, really amazing. So I believe that's a perfect way to illustrate the attitude right now, the immovability of the dedication to this path, and the proof that doing 2 hours of meditation a day, 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the evening, really, really fucking changes your mind. And I've managed to sail through. I mean, I get through everything, of course, but say for instance, all the usual things that might be bothering you are there, but you're handling them in a much more elevated fashion. You're immovable in your attitude to who you are, what you want to be, and what you're doing, as you know, reflected in this particular spiritual path. This shit works. When you do all of the procedures, you know, the showering, you know, the brushing, the you know, the blessing of the food, and the pore breathing, and when you move to 2 hours of meditation a day, your imagination becomes stronger, your senses become heightened, and you just become more grown up. And one can only imagine the results of many, 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 many years of immovability. Okay, I believe I've made my point.